Good morning, people. It is Wednesday morning. This weather cannot make up its fucking mind at the moment, doing me in. Yesterday was absolutely glorious, like bright sunshine. I was out in shorts and a t-shirt. And then today, I'm fully wrapped up. The jeans are on, the big coat's on, multiple layers. Yeah, absolutely madness. But I suppose that's the nature of it, right? What they say, spring showers, April showers. We're very much in that zone at the moment. So I'm just trying to get out for a quick walk while it's not raining, because this afternoon is looking pretty grim. When I've just checked the weather forecast, there's a little bit of like drizzly shit in the air, but it's not too bad. So I don't mind too much at the moment. But as I say, hoping I'm not going to get absolutely soaked. We shall see. But yeah, more weight down on the scales this morning. So at the end of last week's video, I had said my weight had just popped up a little bit. Calories then got reduced and we're back down this morning to the 160.2. So that was the lowest weigh-in of last week. And I'm back down to that today. So I'm very, very hopeful that we're going to get into the 159s in the next couple of days. And I don't think there's a huge amount more to go. I said to Christian in my check-in, like, I feel like it is very much down to, my abs aren't like fully popping at the moment. That lower stomach, that love handle, lower back areas, definitely things that are still holding on to the fat. Same for everyone. And it is where it's going to get harder. The food is low, my hunger's high, my output's high. But these are the times where you just really have to dig deep, really know that like there's a reason, there's a purpose, there's something coming that I really want to happen. Let me just see if this car actually stops. Yeah, it has. So yeah, just keep leaning into the fact that it's 5 weeks to go till that photo shoot, 5 weeks of pushing, 5 weeks of digging, 5 weeks of feeling hungry. But that is all part of it. And, I've been through this process several times before. So it's not like I don't know what to expect. I think sometimes it's harder when it is all new. Because you just don't know what to expect, and then all of a sudden when you feel to the point of being pretty hungry, even within an hour of eating a meal, you're hungry again, and the next meal's not coming for another few hours. It definitely takes its toll, but like I say, you just have to keep yourself busy. You just have to stay focused, stay consistent, because if you just start giving in to stuff, if you start giving into the cravings that are coming, you start thinking, I'm hungry, I need to eat. The more of that stuff you do, the longer the whole thing is going to take. Like, you're not going to be ready. You're not going to look the way you want to look come the particular thing that you've got going on. For me, that is a photo shoot, but for other people, that might be a holiday. It might be an event. It might just be to get into the best shape they ever have. And if you're constantly like straying from things, you're forever adding food back in again because you feel a bit hungry. You're just delaying the whole process. You're just making the whole process take much longer. It's much less efficient. And ultimately that means either you're never actually going to get to where you want, or you're just going to be dragging it out for a long time. So whilst it is challenging and whilst it is tough, sometimes you are better off just embracing that, sucking it up and knowing, look, I've got this relatively short-term sprint finish. And it is relatively short-term in the grand scheme of things. Like this shoot prep for me is going to end up being 15 weeks by the time we get to the photo shoot. 15 weeks out of the year, it's, what is it, less than a third of the year. It really isn't that much time, and I think it's easy to get a bit caught up, like, you don't, if you're having to diet for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months because you've got an awful lot of weight to lose. Obviously, that's a different situation. But you should also generally only need to do that once, even if you are severely overweight at the minute. Yes, it might take a pretty lengthy old push to get down to where you want to be, but once you're down there, maintaining that's far easier. You know, even if you lose a lot of weight and then you even go into a little bit more of a dedicated phase of growth, you gain a bit of weight back on because you're trying to put some muscle on. Even when you then go to lose that again, it's not like you're going to need another, 6, 12, 18 months to get the fat off. You probably only need 6, 12, 18 weeks. So I think it's always worth seeing that bigger picture, knowing that there's a purpose. And the whole thing just becomes that much easier. So yeah, as I say, we're back down to that low weight today. I do expect to continue to see that trend downwards. I did train push this morning, which was a really good session. Hopefully the noise of that's not too loud. Everyone's out trying to sort their gardens out at the moment. Yeah, really decent push session. That was my 4th session on the bounce again this week. So just the way the week's fallen, it has meant 4 sessions on the bounce. Tomorrow will be a rest day for me. Lara's in the office, and then I'll get my pull session done Friday. And then Saturday will be a rest day as well, before I get back in the gym Sunday for legs. So anyway, let's try and get this walk done, try and get home before the rain starts, and then we'll crack back on again. What is up, guys? It feels like ages since I've recorded a part of the vlog just at home. Hope everyone's good. Hope everyone is well. We have seen a new low weigh-in on the scales this morning, which is absolutely bloody fantastic. Just what I like to see. It's been hard work. I am hungry pretty much all the time. Like, I am at that stage now where I'm basically hungry like an hour and a half after eating. And that's even making some like big voluminous meals, like, lots of veggies, lots of salad, really trying to pack out the volume in those meals. The nature of where we're at, the nature of how hard we're having to push, just means that it is what it is. And, sometimes it happens that way. So what I did just want to show you is that this is what today's lunch looks like. And it's one of my favorite things to do. So can you have a little look in there? Da-da-da. Basically, it's just everything thrown in the air fryer. Just a really easy meal. So in there, I've got a tiny little amount of potato, just 100 grams of potato, because that's all that the carbs are going into this meal. Various veggies. So there's some onions, some broccoli, some cauliflower, some carrots, some peppers, some chili, and then there's chicken in there as well. A little bit of seasoning on there, and then literally just bang it in the air fryer and let it do its thing. So simple. Means I can be off doing other things. I can just let that cook, and then when it's ready, bang it on the plate, and we're away. We're ready to go. So yeah, just been out for a little walk just to try and get a bit of air earlier-ish in the day, because I've got a busy afternoon. I'm just going to be pretty much at my desk all afternoon. So lunch is there cooking. I'll get that eaten, and then we shall crack on with the stuff that needs doing, and lots of content to create. I've got a couple of training plans to write for existing clients. We've got the blitzers that are still in the process of getting signed up. So if you are interested in that, my 6-week benefit blitz, there are still a few spaces left. You have missed out on the early bird discount, but you can still get involved. 6 weeks of awesome fat loss fun. Like I say fat loss fun because some people think that fat loss is going to be really shitty, and the fact that I've just said that I'm hungry all the time probably hasn't instilled much confidence, but I'm very much pushing to extremes at the moment. So you'll get training plans, you'll get dietary advice, calorie and macro targets, some recipe guides. I'll talk you through, if you like a bit more structure, how you can go about that in terms of taking those calorie and macro targets and putting them into a more structured plan. You'll get check-ins once a week, so you've got all that accountability. Once a week, I release a bit more of like an educational webinar, so it'll be on different topics to make sure that you're also learning as you go. That will also give you the opportunity to ask any questions. So there's also a private Facebook community, so any questions that crop up and stuff during the week, you'll be able to ask those, so you're never left without anything. Step targets, cardio targets, all of that, adjustments made as needed. And that is 6 weeks that will take you just up to that point of summer arriving. So if you have got a holiday planned, you've got a holiday booked, and you're starting to panic and think, shit, I'm not looking where I want to be, that is the perfect thing to get involved in. It's a short-term commitment. A lot of people go on and turn it into something much longer than that, but short-term commitment, get things done the right way so you're not left, guessing, panicking, trying like 6 different things over the next 6 weeks and none of them get you anywhere. It's all structured, it's all designed especially for you, and it is going to get you results. And there are a few prizes to be won as well, because who doesn't love a little prize at the end? So if you're up for it, drop me a little message, Blitz. You can pop it in the comments. You can send me a message privately at Ben Howard Fitness on all of my socials. ben@benhowardfitness.com is the email. They're all linked in the description. Pop me a little message with the word Blitz. I'll be in touch and we'll make sure that you get going and you get in fantastic shape, ready for the summer. Good morning, people. It is Friday morning, and what time is it? What time is it? 10:15 in the morning on Friday. Gym at 5 o'clock this morning, and a nice consistent set of 2 days of low weigh-ins. So we breached the 160 barrier, which is what we're after. After the push happened again on Tuesday, more food came off. Very much hoping to see that number on the scales come down, and it absolutely has. I do feel like I am getting leaner. Like I mean, again, I'm pretty hard on myself. Like there are times where I look and I think there's a good chunk more to go, and then other times like I actually try and pinch some fat, and there isn't a huge amount there. I think it's just there's probably, in my head, I am probably thinking there's maybe 4 or 5 more pounds. I think if I can get 4 or 5 pounds more off in the next 4 or 5 weeks, I'm going to be in a really, really good spot. And that should happen given where things are at. Calories are low, output's high. We need to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. But yeah, it's been a tough old week. Like hunger, as I mentioned, I think yesterday, hunger has been particularly high for several, to be honest, it's been high for several weeks now. But the drop again that happened this week, hunger is definitely ramping up for me. But you just have to crack on. You just have to get through. And, I'm busy. So there's lots going on at the moment. I've got, the Blitz is still there. The Blitz is still happening. There's still people signing up. So still a few spaces available for anyone that wants to get involved in that. There's all the plans to be writing, making sure that all of that's sorted. I've got, my one-to-one guys who making sure that they're all sorted, check-ins coming through, new training plans to write for them. So life is pretty busy. I've also signed up to another educational course. So I'm working my way through that at different times too, just, delving a bit more into I think sometimes it's easy to get a bit complacent with education as a coach. I think sometimes certain coaches and I've probably been guilty of this at times myself too. You can think you sort of know enough, but the truth is you can never know enough. You have to be constantly looking for ways to improve. And even if those little improvements are just the 1%, if you're getting 1% better at what you do, your clients are going to get better from that. All of the new information, the new knowledge, all of that you can then impart upon other people. It can, slightly alter the way you coach. And again, not everything that you learn is going to be applicable to every single person. So it's not like, you go on these training courses, watch the online videos, go through the webinars, whatever it might be. And it's not like that information is going to apply blanket across every single person you work with. But there might be a handful of clients where actually, that thing there is really, really useful. My client might have been particularly struggling with that thing. Actually, this has given me some new tools and some new potential opportunities to try things. This little bit of nutritional advice, of digestion support, of all of the things that go into, what I do as a coach. There is the training, there is the diet, there is the lifestyle management, there's the psychology, there's the behavior. All of these things work in sync. And so if I can continue to build my own knowledge, continue to build my own tool base, that's only going to give me more things that I can offer everyone else. And, that's why I'm so keen to keep up with my education, to learn from people who are experts in these particular areas, and, you know, investing in different people, investing in different mentors, courses, all of that allows me to do that. And, you know, it's something that I'm really looking forward to delving more into, because, you know, primarily it's gonna make me a better coach. It's gonna mean that my clients benefit more and more. So yeah, busy with lots of stuff going on at the moment. I'm gonna try and get out for a little walk in a bit, just to make sure that the steps are up. The past couple of days that I've tried to get out for a few steps just before I eat my lunch, and I'm getting to that point of having eaten like my first meal at 6-7 o'clock in the morning, trying to, like, you know, then eke out the morning until I eat my lunch around midday. That sort of final hour before I eat that lunchtime meal is definitely one where I'm starting to feel the pinch. I start to feel like slightly sort of weaker and fainter. I haven't yet fainted, don't worry. So, you know, I don't think that's quite going to happen. But yeah, keeping hydrated. Coffee is very much my friend at the moment. And also something that I am doing, which I'm not a big like fizzy drinker at all, but I have started to just have like a little glass of you know, 0 calorie. There's Coca-Cola in there, but little glass of 0 calorie fizzy, just to almost like tide me over through the morning. As I say, if I've eaten that first meal at 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm then going right through till midday before I have lunch, just a little something to break the morning up. And sometimes that's coffee, you know, sometimes that's a little glass of the 0 calorie there. None of that impacts my digestion. That's, you know, one of the biggest factors that I would always say to anyone who, you know, various people will come to me, like I drink a can of whatever it is, 0 calorie fizzy every day. Is that an issue? If it's not an issue digestively, there's no major dramas. Like, it's usually if that is starting to impact someone's digestion, and that's when we probably need to look at, you know, doing things a bit differently. But yeah, for me, it's more of just I don't know, a little bit of trying to trick my stomach into thinking there's more in it than there is. But it is working at the moment. So yeah, all of that stuff is there, like trying to use those little things where possible. All the things that I would potentially suggest to clients as well, like when you are getting towards like the tail end of fat loss and it is getting difficult, if there are little things we can do, you know, let's try them. But ultimately it's going to be tough, and, you know, to some degree there needs to be an acceptance of that. The more that you try and avoid it and hide and run away from it, the harder it's going to be. So, you know, embrace the fact that it's getting difficult, enjoy a bit of hunger, and just, you know, just know that it's doing its job. But yeah, weekend coming up, I'm not entirely sure what we've got planned again. It's going to be one of those that I think is going to be a sort of take it as it comes weekend, hoping the weather's going to be good. The car needs a good wash, that's for sure. I managed to get a decent bit done out in the garden last weekend that needed doing. So the lawn got mowed, the hedge got trimmed. This weekend could be the car's turn to get a little bit of TLC, because it's been a while. But other than that, yeah, I don't think we've got too much planned. And my energy levels aren't exactly soaring these days, so nothing too strenuous. But we shall see. Maybe we'll take Louis swimming, because it's been a little while since he's been, and we're trying to expose him more and more to the water. So maybe we'll try and get him swimming tomorrow morning, because they have a little slot for the kids to go and enjoy. But other than that, yeah, probably quite chilled. Oh, there we go. 5 o'clock in the morning. It is legs done. Just get the blowers going. Oh, 5 o'clock Sunday morning. Yeah, doing legs at 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning is, yeah, that is the stuff. Actually not too bad a session, all things considered. I wasn't feeling overly energetic going in. Could quite happily have stayed in bed for a little bit longer, but staying in bed isn't going to make stuff happen. So 5 a.m, we're out of bed, we're getting to the gym, and we're making stuff happen. As I say, actually not a bad session at all. Like, the hack squats felt heavy, but that is probably the world's heaviest hack squat, even without any weight on. It's just one of them machines. It's Matrix branded, and anyone who's used those Matrix branded machines, particularly the hack squat, I think it's typically the stuff, if you're in the UK, I'm pretty sure Pure Gym, and maybe even the Gym Group as well, I think they are very much Matrix branded gyms. And if you've used their hack squat, you'll know exactly what I mean. I remember the very first time I got on one, it was up in Leeds actually, and I was training a pure gym up there that a couple of our friends go to, training legs, thinking, you know, I'd literally just come from another hack squat near my brother's in Manchester at a really cool little gym called Biomax, which is where I'm doing my photo shoot. They've got a hack squat in there that feels absolutely incredible. And I'm not even sure that it's actually a branded one in there, because I asked the guy, like the owner, what brand of hack is that? And he said, honestly, mate, most of our machines aren't actually branded. They're just like built, custom made. Anyway, they've done a really bloody good job on their hack because it feels fantastic. You know, I was loading up 3 or 4 plates aside on there, you know, 120, 150 kilos, full depth squats. And so, you know, I jump on the pure gym hack the next week and I think I'd put a couple of 20s on there, thinking, you know, I've just done 3 or 4 plates aside on this other one, couple of 20s on there, no worries at all. And I'm pretty sure I got to the bottom of it, and it just, you know, you'll know what I mean if you are a lifter. If you put a load on a weight, especially something that means like the load's on your back, you go down into, you know, the movement, and you just feel like you've literally just got a house on your back. It just slams you to the ground, and it just feels so incredibly heavy. So that Matrix hack squat is like that. It's such a heavy machine with nothing on it. So, you know, I'm gradually working my way up, and considering I'm at my lightest weight, you know, I was quite happy to maintain the weight from last week. I lost a couple of reps on my top set, on my heaviest set, but last week I did also train after having eaten a little bit later in the morning. So all of those things have an impact as well. This morning, obviously 5 o'clock in the morning, haven't had any food beforehand, managed to maintain the weight for a couple of reps down on that heavy set, but then managed to match weight and reps on the back off set. So overall pretty good. And then everything else pretty much increased. My leg press went up. So yeah, overall pretty decent session. Not too mad at it at all. So just on my way home, I'm not sure if Lara and Louis will be up yet, because they both had a little bit of a lay-in yesterday morning until 8 o'clock. It's only just 7:05 now. So I'll get home, see what's going on, get stuff sorted, and then Sunday can begin. But I'll be back soon. Good morning. It is Monday morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, and I have been to the gym already at 5 o'clock, had a really, really good shoulders and arms session, and the check-in is ready. It'll be sent tomorrow morning, as always, but I'm just having a little look through the stuff now. Exactly £2 down on average from where we were last week. We've had a fairly consistent run of being into the 158. So I started the week at 160.8 and I've ended the week at 158.6. So 2.2 down across the week, £2 down on average. Some really, really, really good training sessions this week, despite the fact that energy levels aren't exactly through the roof. Still making progress. The physique is, again, from what I've seen and the pictures I've taken over the course of the past week that I've been sending to Christian, looking really good. The leanness is there. I'm forever hard on myself, and I'm forever believing and thinking that I should be leaner and leaner and leaner, but it is moving in the right direction. And as I say, there is still 4 weeks to go. I think sometimes even I'm forgetting that, you know, I'm wanting to be like shoot ready today, but the shoot is in 4 weeks time. So, you know, we've got time to continue chipping away. I think another 4, 5, 6 pounds to come off in the next, in the next sort of 4 weeks is probably going to put me in that position where I am really, really quite lean, ready to rock, ready to roll, ready to then fill up a little bit and jump in front of that camera. So yeah, all in all, a decent one. Pretty good weekend as well. Nice sunny weekend. So managed to get a decent bit of stuff done. Finally managed to give the car a wash, which was something that I really, really wanted to do. And I also managed to get the gate cleaned because our gate had got covered in a load of moss. All of the fun and exciting stuff that I'm sure you guys want to hear. Just part of being a normal human being. But yeah, managed to get out, enjoy the sunshine quite a lot as well. Took Louis to go and see some little animals at the garden centre yesterday afternoon. He was quite taken by all the little fish, I think, because they move a lot, and he's very much of that mindset at the minute. There were like some rabbits and some rats and some gerbils and guinea pigs, but they weren't really doing a huge amount, so he wasn't as bothered by those, whereas the fish obviously all like darting around very much caught his attention. And then it was just a case of trying to contain him while he just wanted to leg it around the garden centre. But all good, all good. As I say, check-in with Christian will happen tomorrow. I'm not second guessing anything, but continuing to move in the right direction. Feeling okay, all things considered. Fairly tired. Energy levels not exactly, pumping, but it's all part of that process, and just trying to conserve the energy where possible. But equally, I know I need to push. So still getting out and getting, most days, I'm getting 10 to 12,000 steps plus my half an hour's cardio. Plus my 5 training sessions a week, and most of those are happening at 5 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, we're definitely into those final stages. But as I say, feeling good, looking good, progress is happening, and that is all we want at this stage. Good morning, people. It's pretty early on Tuesday morning. Check-in sent to Christian, check-in reply received very, very promptly. Christian's actually on holiday, I think. Well, I say on holiday. Us coaches don't really take proper holiday, but he's away. So he was obviously up and about nice and early. My check-in was probably one of the first he received, because I always send it super, super early, like 5:30 in the morning. And yeah, check-in reply come back. Even more weight down today. So down into the 157s now. And actually over 3 pounds down week to week. So really, really, really big movements happening on the scales now. I'm definitely feeling it. Yeah, definitely feeling the hunger, feeling the little bit of the low energy levels, but all part of the process, all worthwhile. Pictures I will pop up for you, so you can obviously have a little look at those, see what's going on there. I'm just currently making my way into town because I need to go to the town hall to pick up my renewed residency card. My existing residency card actually expires at the end of this month, something that I had to apply for post-Brexit because the UK was no longer in the EU, which meant the whole freedom of movement thing disappeared. So that at the time I was granted a 5-year card, and then this one I'm hoping that it's going to be a 10-year one. So that will at least cover me for the next 10 years. And in that time, I plan to apply for nationality anyway, because I've been here long enough. Lara is also a French citizen. My son is also French because he was born here. So I'm the only one in the family without a French passport. We've all got British passports, but the other 2 have got French ones as well. So yeah, I'll apply for that in due course, but let's make sure the residency status is where it needs to be first. So heading into town to do that, get that picked up, and then I've already done a few check-ins this morning before I've headed out, and then I'm going to try and find a bit of a coffee shop somewhere in town that I can just get myself set, crack on with some more work, and then we'll see what today brings, because today's a rest day for me. Lara's in the office. And then I've got training days for the next 3 days before the weekend arrives. And I am 4 weeks out from the shoot today. So that is quite cool. 4 weeks to go. Weight is on the way down. Body fat levels are very, very low. There's still a little bit more to come off, but yeah, we're getting there. I'm not actually sure. I don't think I've walked you through town before. I'm just coming up to the town hall, so I'll show you the building where I'm about to collect my residency card, which I think is also the building that I will get my citizenship when that happens. And it's one of those funny moments, like an important moment to recognise. So here you go. This is what the building looks like. You'll see it in a second. Just behind all of this glass, it's a big glass fronted big glass fronted building. There we go. The Mairie de Chartres. Chartres Town Hall. So, in we go. Well, that certainly didn't go to plan. Sat there for an hour and a half because classic computer says no, French bureaucracy situation. All they needed to do was take my fingerprints. There's two things open. One of the fingerprint machines in one of them didn't work, but instead of just letting me do my fingerprints at the other one, they left me sat there for over an hour until I actually said, I've had an appointment an hour ago. And they're like, oh yeah, but that machine doesn't work. I said, yeah, but this one does. Yeah, I know, but that machine doesn't work. Yeah, but the one that you're sat at does. Yeah, but you need to see my colleague. But the machine with her doesn't work, so why would I see her? Okay, we'll see you in a minute. So then another 15 minutes and 2 people pass before they actually see me. Fingerprints taken. Card isn't even there. It's not even ready. So now I've had to get this like special letter thing because I'm probably not going to have my actual card ready before we head to England. So they've had to do me this silly little like authorization letter to say the card is in the process of being ready, but it's not actually ready. Honestly, the French love to completely overcomplicate these things. Oh dear. So I haven't actually got my card, and I pretty much wasted an entire morning sitting doing absolutely nothing because you're not allowed to do anything in there. You're not even really supposed to be on your phone and stuff because it's, you know, it's like a government building. Anyway, I'm finally on my way home. So hopefully just get on with stuff. The idea of working in a coffee shop now, out the window, too much to do. So let's get home, let's get cracking and see if we can play catch up.